If you take a poll among gym bros about leg exercises that can pack serious size onto your quads, glutes, and hamstrings, you're likely going to wind up with two options: the squat and the leg press. And for good reason too. Both of these exercises are going to let you lift heavy and hard, and they're going to challenge all your leg muscles. But which one of these is the true king of total leg development? Truth is, they both have a different place and purpose in your training. And understanding how they're the same and how they're different as well is the key to knowing when to use one of these leg blasting moves or the other. So before we start comparing the two moves, let's understand what they are first. At a base level, a squat is a leg exercise that has you starting standing up, holding a load with your upper body. Then, while aiming to stay relatively upright through your torso, you're going to push your butt back a little bit and you're going to bend at the knees, lowering your torso until your thighs are near or below parallel to the ground. This is a knee-dominant move that really challenges your quads, and as you stand up, it's going to challenge your glutes a ton too. A leg press actually has plenty of similarities to a squat, and that it is also a knee-dominant move when done correctly. And while there are several leg press machines out there, all of them generally have something in common. They're going to push you to bend at the knee joint and challenge your quads when done correctly. That means both moves give you a chance to really grow your quads and glutes. Partly because of this, both of these exercises should be among the heaviest weight moves that you do in the gym. But that is where the similarities end. There are several key areas where these moves differ, and they break down along several categories. There's systemic stress, versatility, and safety. The biggest difference between both of these lifts is systemic stress. It's all about how you fatigue your entire body. When you squat, no matter where you're loading the weight, you're asking your upper body to do serious work simply because it has to hold the weight on some level. That means you'll have to brace really hard through your upper body, and you have no margin for error in terms of losing total body tension. It also means you're training smaller stabilizing muscles in your squat that might not play a key role in the leg press, such as your adductors and even your obliques and your back spinal extensors. Depending on your approach to the squat, it's entirely possible that those other muscle groups will fatigue before your quads and glutes do on any given squat set. That's very different from the leg press, which instantly takes your spine and upper body out of the equation since you're lying down. Sure, on a properly done leg press, you're going to want to brace your entire body, but you have a lot more margin for error. Instantly, this means that there's less total body fatigue on each rep, and that also means that you can push harder and really fatigue your quads and glutes on every single set. The second big difference between these two lifts is all about versatility. Because you're on the sled on the leg press, and because your spine is largely out of play, you can play with different foot positions and angles on the leg press that you can't really on the squat. Those positions don't play so well with the squat because we need to make sure that we stay balanced and in control at all times. That means we can hit slightly different muscle groups if we want during a leg press, and we can focus on different things. We can even focus on our glutes and hamstrings if we want to when we're doing a leg press. We can't easily adapt the squat the same way. The third major difference is overall safety. When we're working with a free weight squat, if you lose control of that load, either because of fatigue or lack of focus or anything, you're inviting injuries because you're losing control of a giant bar, you're losing control of a weight somehow, and that weight's going to wind up crashing to the ground. Most leg presses, though, have a built-in safety mechanism that protects you from lowering the weight too deeply, and if you lose control, it's going to keep you safe. This can limit your range of motion on some of those machines, but it also means you can't lose the weight in a way that's going to injure you. Once we take into account all of these differences, we can start to see how we can use each of these lifts differently. So when should we leg press? The leg press is at its best as a tool that lets you take your knee flexion movement pattern to max fatigue. It'll let you push past fatigue and push deep into quad burn much better than the squat. So if you're looking to push your body near total fatigue or use complex techniques like drop sets or rest pause sets, you're best off doing it on the leg press. This also affects how we place the leg press in our workouts too. If you're training for general strength, you still want to make sure that we're hitting those total body stabilizers, so you want to keep squats and lunges in your routine. You should aim to do those exercises early though in your routine. That way you have full control and you have more focus, and when you battle that systemic fatigue, you can battle that a little bit more easily at the early part of your workout. Then when you're fatigued and you want to finish yourself off, then you can head over to the leg press for heavy, high rep sets. Don't be afraid to fail on your last press on the leg press, because the machine, again, is designed to let you push to that point. Don't be afraid to program, say, 3 sets of 20 reps on the leg press, and don't waste those reps either. Make sure that you're going heavy and really pushing to fatigue, because the leg press is about pushing to true fatigue and taking yourself to the limit. Focus on the quality of reps here. So when do we go to the squat? The squat is the knee flexion movement that you go to build general strength and power and to train your entire body to work as a unit. That means it's an exercise that you'll want to do earlier in your routine as your first or second move on leg day. And you'll want to keep the reps lower since your body is prone to fatiguing earlier than your legs. Your goal on a heavy squat is to subject your body to heavy load, not necessarily a heavy rep load. The squat also isn't the place to push the fatigue. You want to think of doing, say, 3 sets of 8 to 10 reps max, or we can even go lower than that, doing, say, 3 to 5 reps. Your goal here is to move weight. Your goal on the leg press is to keep things high rep. You should never do a leg press set that is 3 to 5 reps. There just isn't a point. In the end, both of these tools actually complement each other very well, and you can use them to bring out the best in your leg training over the long haul. The heavy loading and total body challenge of the squat helps to make sure that your body understands how to work well as a unit, and it also teaches you the proper bracing techniques that you might be able to ignore on the leg press. So doing that for, say, 4 to 6 weeks will have overall strength benefits. Those strength benefits can carry over to another cycle where you're focusing a little bit more on leg pressing. Following with the cycle of leg presses after a cycle of squats can give your upper body a much needed break from that squat pattern and let you hone other complex lifts like split squats, heavy lunges, and deadlifts early in your leg program. After you've done those lifts, then you can come fry your legs at the end of your routine with high rep leg press sets that focus on knee flexion, and that will set a new bar for how long you can keep your quads under mechanical tension while also giving you a new threshold for your personal limits on the leg press and on a leg set. And that will eventually translate back to a stronger squat when you go back to squat. Both of these moves, make no mistake, will help you get serious leg gains. Just make them work together and let them work together, and your wheels will be on the road to serious gains.